Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to another episode of Jacob Walks Over a Bridge. I'm Jacob. I'm ascending up to a bridge, and I reserve the right to label any city which prioritizes cars over every other form of transportation as dumb. And I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, that Las Vegas is very dumb, for the most part. I guess maybe chalk this up to being from New York, not having a good sense of what it's like to traverse a city that's full of freeways and, 10 lanes of traffic to cross over. I should count my blessings. But Las Vegas is, I'm just gonna, keep saying dumb. But I guess the one thing they have going for it is the fact that they have built a series of pedestrian bridges. And now I'm descending down to the ground from one of those bridges, the pedestrian bridge, to cross one of their exceptionally wide roads. I'm on the Strip. It's very early in air quotes for, it's 7:30. People are probably retiring for the night now. Maybe not on a Monday morning necessarily, but it's not a cloud in the sky, bright sun, in the shadow of the Great Pyramid of what is it, Luxor that they have here. There's a castle, and ironically enough now, I'm walking past the New York resort, where I'm right now mere feet away from the Statue of Liberty and a very, like an alternate universe Chrysler Building and Empire State Building. They just, they look almost right here. They're tall, they're very tall for what look like fake buildings. I mean, I guess they have to have something. They're that big, they have to have some purpose. But the Empire State Building looks like it just had the top of it chopped off, or the top 5 levels, and they still kept the little top, the spire, but it looks just a little short. And the Chrysler Building is chunky, a little wider than it should be. But where was I? Oh yes, how dumb it is. In New York, thankfully, you can walk everywhere, and that's normal. Here, I walked past the taxi stand, and I got a weird look from the guy when I said, "No, I don't need a taxi right now." That's what it's like to walk around here. And of course, too, it's super dry. And nothing makes you miss, 90 degrees and humidity like walking around in the desert. I don't know if I would ever survive in the dry heat long term necessarily. It's also funny here in New York, they've got an Irish bar. We got the same Hershey's World store that they have in Times Square. They got a Shake Shack. Quintessential New York. And I'm going to walk. I haven't made it to a bridge just yet, but I think I'm going to ironically walk over their little version of the Brooklyn Bridge. I could talk about how much I hate that bridge. I'm yawning. Sleep has been fleeting the last weekend. I've been here for a bachelor party, and there have been some late nights, or I got some sort of stomach bug. Okay, well, definitely know what's wrong with this now. I'm walking over the Brooklyn Bridge, and the floor's all wrong. I mean, I guess it's the ground, so they can do whatever they want. They got a nice tiled walkway here, but we all know that it's a wooden pier type walkway along this bridge, so I'm going to knock them some points for realistic reproduction, which I don't think they were really going for realistic necessarily, judging by how the other big buildings look. I think they're just very happy with a close enough facsimile. But definitely it's been interesting to be, it's nice to get out of the city for a change. I'm saying, this is a dumb place to be, but it's nice to be able to get out and not have to worry about the city for a change, or my daily life, not having to think about work. It's been a while since I'd taken a vacation. I think it was starting to show in my work. But I've managed to not lose too much money, which I guess is an accomplishment all unto itself. Shake Shack's the same price here. Just checked. But I think I've lost around $200. I think up until yesterday morning I was up like $60, something like that. But that quickly changed. I made some ill-advised bets in the morning and didn't have much success later on in the day. And so yeah, I mean, it happens so quickly you don't even notice. You were doing so well in blackjack the first night, and then blackjack kills you the next. That's how it goes. But it is what it is, and I'm leaving early tomorrow morning, and I'll probably make at least one or two more ill-advised bets before then. I probably won't do anything crazy. I might sit in front of a slot machine one more time, throw a little bit more money away there. And see, now here's the thing with sports betting, which I really disagree with for the most part, except in Las Vegas, because I feel like the large proliferation of sports betting just lends itself to, I guess, maybe corruption at some point, or just, we all know about the 1919 Black Sox and the controversy surrounding them. I almost jaywalked, and I'm like, I don't really know this area well enough to really think about it. Or, I don't know. But where was I? Sports betting. Where, if it's just in Vegas, I feel like it's self-contained enough that it's not so much of an issue. But if every major sports stadium now is going to be opening their own sports book, their own sports betting house, it's going to be, I don't know, I feel like things are going to change for the worse. And even I hear about some players betting on themselves. Whether it's to do well or not, I don't know. Or betting for other things that don't involve their team or themselves at all. But I feel like when sports betting was just limited to Las Vegas, it was a little less of an issue. But, and now, New York in the last couple months, once sports betting was legalized, it was all over the place. You could not escape. And even before, I think New Jersey got it first. So then, if you were watching TV, every other commercial was about Caesars. Caesars this, Caesars that. And, excuse me, I burped. That's not necessarily good. When someone's just flooding the airwaves with something, it's never good. It's like when election season comes around and every other ad's a political ad. You just want it to end. And after a while, you get really tired of seeing all those sports betting commercials. But I guess we're all familiar with it now. And it's just taken. Now all the sports shows have the lines. They even will do their own shows that talk about sports betting because now everyone's doing it. I don't know what's changed necessarily in the public eye that's made sports betting more of a acceptable thing to do all around everywhere. But Vegas, I think it's okay. So I'm here. I'll bet on the Mets to do something good. Something that won't make me lose money if I bet on them, of course. I would not, even if they won and I lost money, I don't want that. But the I'll find some sports book, and they're really impressive. I mean, these resorts themselves are just gigantic, colossal. Whatchamacallit? I guess they tribute to what gambling is. But the they all now have the sportsbook section, and they're all amazing looking. They've got a million different TVs. You don't even have to go up to a person. They've got little kiosks where you can look through all the different bets you can make, and of course they got the main sports for them. They've got every other sports league you could think of: college, professional, semi-pro. I don't know if today's the day I'm going to bet on women's lacrosse, but the day is still very young. I mean, obviously I have not left the Strip that much. The only time I left the Strip was to go to another section of town that's very touristy. And I think being from New York, you're very cynical of all the tourist stuff, all the traps. You learn to recognize them real quick. If I was coming from someplace in Middle America, I think seeing the Hershey store would have been a treat. I would have wanted to go in and explore and whatnot, but it's literally 2 blocks from where I live now, but it's also the fact that those sorts of places are not what the insiders want. I crave that insider look into a city, where the locals go to eat, and you don't really have that in the Strip. I mean, the saying is that everyone who works in Las Vegas or everyone who lives here works in the industry. It's in some capacity. So I imagine that there must be places along here that locals do go to, and I'm on my way to a breakfast spot where they have a few locations, and we're consistently mentioned on those top places to eat websites. So we'll see how that is. The lemon blueberry glazed waffle caught my eye on the menu, and I may have to indulge. Here, finally. So I'm approaching another bridge that the other day the up escalator was out of order. Now it's a down escalator, but I guess that's a treat. This is the first time going to a bridge where I'm able to ascend gracefully, with the stairs. You hear me all out of breath, which is not the ASMR content I hope to provide through these recordings. Excuse me. Yawning again. It's been that kind of week, and I got here Friday. It's been nonstop fun. Have I enjoyed myself here? Aside from the little stomach bug I got, I'd say yeah. It was nice to hang out with some friends and see the sights, and I've never been here before. This is my first time, and unless the AMA hosts a convention here and they make me go, I probably will never return. Or I'll say it's very unlikely. There's very little, or maybe if I'm on tour myself, I may stop here, but there's a good chance that won't happen, and I'm going to end up probably placing my last bets ever here today. Which is not the end of the world. I mean, the implications of gambling are never good. You're probably not going to win. And I guess I get my gambling fix at home through scratch-off tickets, which is fine. But this will be the only time I probably do, unless someone else has their bachelor party in Vegas and I'm in the party, and I guess I'll come and do my thing. I mean, for a lot of the other guys in the group, this was not their first rodeo. But now I'm walking from the bridge through a mall. Lots of fancy stores here. No Gap. No Gap or Old Navy. It's all these fancy stores that are here to try to wean you of your winnings. Is this the first time I've ever recorded myself walking through a mall? I think so. But that's the report from this amusement park of sorts. My telltale sign of being an amusement park, aside from having overpriced concessions and characters walking around, which you have here as well, is the music playing everywhere. That's what always struck me when the last time I remember being in Disney. I think Disneyland was the last Disney theme park I went to, and I remember I think I also remember it in Disney World in Florida. But there's always music someplace, and it's not always very obvious where it's coming from. They very discreetly hide their speakers in lampposts and hedges, but you're always bombarded with some music somewhere, and that's true here as well. So it's definitely an amusement park. All the flashing lights, and it's like I'm living in Times Square and I can't get out. So definitely, it's nice in small doses. I'll say that. I'll say that. Embracing my inner tourist, as much as it pains me, it's been good. Now, will I go back to Vegas again on my own? No, but it was a nice. I'm back outside now, and I guess I'd call this back to being on a pedestrian bridge. Lots of big roads here, and they need bridges to cross them. It's a nightmare. Whoever came up with this was wrong. But no, I think I'm going to leave you at that. If I end up making some wise bets, as opposed to the wrong ones, which I anticipate, maybe I'll be back. This will be the dawning of my emergence as a multi-billionaire. But as unlikely as that sounds, let's try to will it into existence. And on that note, good day and good night.